Hello, welcome to another unboxing video. This one of Eduard 148 scale SE.5a. Almost went onto autopilot then and said 1/72. Yes, this is actually a 148 scale for a change. As per usual, we'll do the outside of the box, the instructions, and then the actual sprues themselves. So outside of the box, in Eduard's usual fashion, from what I've seen with their boxes, you get just the side arts of the actual planes. No actual artwork of combat or anything. It's just the side profile picture of the plane, which is I think that's the Wolseley Viper version, and then the American version in OD. Good old olive drab. Okay, sides. We've got the usual plastic model kit, code number. The end, we have a barcode, and well, there's a couple more of the actual Wolseley Viper. Wolseley, I'll keep mispronouncing that one. Yep, so that's side art to that one again. This side, a little bit on the American plane there as well. So 27th Aero Squadron in 1922. Let's focus. There you go. And the colours used. So we've got OD, white, green, light grey, red, wood, and sail colour. That's quite literally what it says. Sail colour. There you go. Now it's focused. And then, oh no, Captain D.W. Grinley Milne. So yep, that's that one. Side up. Yep. It's £18 this one. There's the barcode again, and yeah, if you want one, whatever, use that code for something. Okay, inside the box. None of this lot's bagged. I've had this one open a few times. So none of it's bagged, so that's easy enough. So we've got the instructions and all the sprues. I'll say it's not bagged, there's a bag. So, okay, as per what I said, we'll have a look at the instructions. Okay, jump cut. And set instructions. So can I get this focused enough? Now there goes a little bit of an intro about the SE.5, often referred to as the Spitfire of the Great War. It came right at the end, April 1917, right near the end, so I had about a year left to go with it. So if you want to read that and pause it, there you go. And a little bit at the bottom regarding his own Viper, about the engines. So yeah, if you want to pause and read that bit as well, there we go. Okay, inside. So we have a nice useful guide on the sprue parts. All these highlighted blue is stuff that we don't need, so Eduard's good for this. So all the different various different kits that you can make with one plane, they'll give you all the sprues and then just redo instructions and decals for later. So there's even a 4-prop version of this one. All the paints that you're going to need, as well as their colours. And all the clear plastic bits. You'll see why in a minute for the clear plastic. You would have thought First World War biplane doesn't tend to be enclosed or anything. There's a reason for that lot. Attention! Carefully read the instructions. Yeah, okay. So, Eduard and 148, the cockpit is going to be extremely well detailed. I would like to name things like, I'm going to say fuel tank, but that's probably not fuel tank, that's probably oil or something. Yeah, not too overly certain, to be honest, sorry. So first off, yep, you got to make all the interior parts, and then you glue the seat on, as well as then the control stick, which then goes... No, that's just decals, sorry. You make the control stick and then decal up this floor plate. Then you put the sides of the fuselage together. Well, the sides of the cockpit together even. all sorts of extra bits and reinforcing ribs and stuff. Decal wires. Decal 25, we'll look at that later. Try and remember that. And decal 26 down here. That's odd. So, yeah. The one thing that's not in here, if I recall. Yep, they're not in there, but you can add them if you feel brave enough. Control surfaces, or not control surfaces, control wires and stuff. You got all the bracing wires, which you can add now. And then, yeah, you glue that together on top of there, and you add all the control bracing wires. I was about to say control wires, no, bracing wires. Remember to add on this bits as well. Step 1, step 2. Spare ammo drum there. All the individual bits there as well, just showing you where they are. And next we've got the top half of the cockpit, the instrument panel, as well as the spare ammo drum as well. All the decal options, all the decals required for the instruments. Alright, there we go, we're getting to the fuselage now, the actual fuselage. So, need to paint all the insides up. And put parts in for the engine bay at the front. There's another... I was going to say that's the instrument panel. No, the instrument panel's there. Not too sure what that bit's for, sorry. Here's the interesting part. I'll actually revert back to the box art in a minute. But if you're making option B, you need to cut little slots into the top of the fuselage. And that is 4. So if you look at the difference between... this will be option A and option B. It's the headrest at the back here. It's missing on the Owsley version, so you need to decide fairly on which version you're going to make. Something to keep an eye, the eye out for. And there's the other thing as well. That's a machine gun. That doesn't. So yeah, have to decide really early which version you are going to do with this one. Okay, back to the instructions and the flying box lid. Once you decide all that, glue the fuselage together on the sides and on top of the cockpit section, as well as the lower wing. Next page, the engine. Quite simple. Put the 2 cylinder heads together. People are going to tell me off, I'm naming things wrong here. So yeah, glue all the engine together. Then it's the top half of the cockpit. So there's the actual cover for, yeah, all the cockpit bit there. Probably reason for that. Guessing like maybe for an extra machine gun bay or something that you would use that for. Not sure. But yeah. And turn it sideways on because now you glue the engine in. The control surfaces, the ailerons, tail place, what am I on about? Yeah, glue them on. There's the, nope, that's not the cockpit section which we were looking at there. That's an extra bit that goes in front of that. But on top of this, here's the clear plastic. Yeah, it's the clear plastic. Reason for that is because you can just about make it out in there. But that's a little pulley, or pulley there. So the control wire comes down the front here. Instructions folding over. Control wire comes down here, and then loops down, well, that pulley there, then loops down to the actual aileron itself, and then you can use it. That's what pulls it to and from, controlling that actual surface there. So to make sure that works and the wire is not too frayed or anything, they covered it with a bit of glass. So hence why the glass, and being a biplane, there's a fair few of these viewing points all over the place. spin the instructions around. There you go, you have to put the machine gun in, as well as that canopy's cockpit section. 2 more viewing panes there on the tail surface. Spinning around again. Ugh. And then you got the front part of the engine cover and the radiator right at the front of the engine, as well as a little cover. B marking only again. Again, you've got to keep an eye out for this. And 2 different, well, windshields, lack of a better term. Yeah, so again, if you're making the B variant, C2, A variant, C3, you got to make your decision nice and early there. Whoops, the machine gun just sticking out the side there. Right, next page, and of course the instructions spin around again. So this will be the upper wing now, the viewing panes there. I'm guessing that's something to do with the control surfaces. At the moment, just too vague. It probably makes more sense when you're making this. Oh, sorry, small jump cut there. Right, now you glue the upper wing on as well as the struts. Yay. What I intend to do with these struts is, when I'm gluing them on, is I'll glue all of them onto like the fuselage on the lower wing, let them like half dry, and then glue the top wing on. And I normally like start, say, this side, put it on, as I say, get those leveled, lined up, put them in holes there, then move on to this set, and then this set, and in theory by the time you get to this set, the wings are flat. If anybody has a better way of doing that, like doing the biplanes and all that, let me know. I'm really curious if anybody's got a better way, because like I say, I always start at this end and then make my way up. And sometimes you need like 3 or 4 hands to even do that work well, so yeah, very curious. Let me know, please. Right, undercarriage. Nothing more to say there really, as the rails, the struts and the support beam in between. If you're making option B, however, you will need to get some extra little strips of plastic or bits of wire. There was an extra support just there required, so unfortunately that's something you're going to have to make yourself, or find yourself. It's not in the kit. And we've got to spin the instructions around again. Here we go. So we've got to glue the exhausts on. You have half there. The landing gear at the rudder. A12, where's... Yeah, there's A12. Then again, say what A12 is though. I'm guessing that's more control surface stuff. Right. And the final bit, add the propeller on, the top machine gun, and the headrest if you're making B option. Same with the machine gun if you're doing B option. And then all the rigging. Being a biplane, it's full of rigging. And the next page has a slightly better view of the rigging, but kind of have to use it in between the two. Sometimes I actually find when doing riggings on biplanes, the wing nut wings instructions on the internet, they're really, really good. Especially when it comes to doing all the rigging. So if this ain't working for you, or this is a little bit confusing, jump onto wing nuts. As I say, they're really good. I've used them a lot for the 72nd scale stuff I've done. And now the paint guides. So Captain Grinnell Milne. There's some notes on that one. So nice bright red plane. That makes a nice difference, other than the Red Baron's, well, the infamous Red Baron for his red plane. OD on the top of the wings as well, with the sail colour on the underside. Sometimes also called linen. So yeah. And then the American one. If you want to read that, and pause that and have a quick read. So this is just pure OD. Sails and white tail surfaces. So That's another interesting difference, colourful one. Okay, let's small jump cut as I get the sprues out. So the first sprue out of the box is the wings. Along you've got the struts, the wheels, all very nicely detailed. In fact, let's zoom into here quickly. There you go. You can just actually make out the pulley there. So just make sure you paint all that up first before gluing the glass viewing panel over. Otherwise, you'll just have grey there on the top of a green wing. So yeah, detail's really nice. It's quite subtle. We've got the panel lines showing through. Not panel, ribs. So yeah, nicely detailed there. Not too much on the camera. But yeah, it's nicely well detailed still. Underside, again, quite nice. The wheels. There's the tail in with. Yep, there's the pulleys again. So they're nicely moulded in there. So overall, it doesn't looks quite nice. Right, next sprue. Next sprue. So we got the fuselage sides and the engine as well. It's loads and loads. Look at all these extra bits. So many extra bits. Then all the ship makers are going, those aren't extra bits. So yeah, I've made a couple of ships in the past. There's loads of bits in those ones. Okay. So fuselage, let's have a quick zoom in on the fuselage. So not too bad. Again, a bit subtle. Just make out like the seam line there on the side. Got the engine. Propeller's quite nice. No wood grain effect paint moulded on, but you technically wouldn't because this would be so sanded and varnished smooth. You would have to paint on the wood effect rather than have it actually moulded on there. Come a bit further down, and then there's the engine, cowlings, seat bits, more engine. The other half of the fuselage, the inside cockpit piece, the frame there. And there's the radiators, which again are quite nice there. Got the two different types, so yeah, quite nice there. Right, underside, well, inside even. Nothing there. They got a little bit at the front here, so you can actually see the bracing wire there already moulded in. That's quite nice. Tells that you're not going to see anything on the inside of the engine. There's not much this side, you can see, unfortunately. No ejector pin marks, or barely any, I can see, so that's quite good. So yeah, quite nice there. All the individual pieces. They're going to be fun to glue on later. Top machine gun. The idea for this thing, I can't remember what the name of the mount actually is, but when it's flying along, if it came under like a bomber or Zeppelin, the idea was it would then bring the machine gun back to about here, so it's actually pointing upwards like that. If you imagine the plane's flying that way, bring the machine gun around so it's actually pointing upwards, so you don't actually have to fly at the same altitude and then chase the opponent's plane or Zeppelin. You can just fly underneath, shoot, pull the machine gun back, shoot into the sky, and then fly around for the next target. So, okie dokie. Next sprue, which is the clear plastic one. It was actually in another clear plastic bag as well. So yeah, so the model does come bagged. I'm gonna use my second hand there. Yeah, the model does come bagged. It's just it's been unbagged in this one. Either myself or whoever's not put it back away properly. So there's your two windscreens and all the extra little plates. So fairly well clear. Let's have a look through here. Not too bad. You can actually bit of shine, which I kind of hope. But yeah, you can see fairly well through those, so not too bad actually. So you can paint up the pulleys nicely, and yeah, you'll still be able to see them afterwards. Right, decals. This is going to stay in the bag. We're going to get the decals out. But yeah, don't look too bad, these ones. Roundels are huge. There you go, you've got the seat belt. Yep, that is literally the seat belt. Hold you in. Right, so let me just have a quick look at the instructions. Just to double check, I think it was these ones, which would be more seat rests, but seat belts even. Let me just double check. So yep, here's the ones in question. So it's decal 25 and decal 26. Let's have a look together. What were these? It is actually the seat. Yeah, it's the seat belt there. So that would actually be. Yeah, okay, you can just about make it out. So it's actually the seat there, and then the decal literally comes over the side. So the little strap comes over the side, and you can just about make out the big straps there. So anybody who was a bit confused on that one, there you go. Glad to help. And okay, and then we've got the big W, as was whatever that is. Winged head? Something. So yeah, all quite nice decals. Right, let me box everything back away and final thoughts. There we go. Really seem to have trouble focusing today, I don't know why. But yeah, final thoughts. So it looks like a really nice kit to put together. It is an Eduard kit, and I've only made one of theirs before, so not a great knowledge of how their models do go together, or experience the different types. But it goes together well, but you do need to do a lot of test fitting, dry fitting beforehand, before gluing. But they do go together quite nicely. So hopefully, that's my last one. So hopefully this one will be quite similar. Just take your time with it, and hopefully they'll go together nicely. Does look like quite a nice kit to be a nice centerpiece. Stands out quite nicely, especially if you do the red one. The green one is what the American one. That'll be quite interesting as well, the red tailpiece. But so yeah, looks like quite an interesting one to hopefully get around to making at some point. Please leave a like if you like the video. Subscribe for more as well, and put your comments on. Have you made this one before? Anything I've got wrong? Any suggestions? With the struts I mentioned earlier, gluing the upper wing on. What's your trick for gluing the upper wing onto the lower wing and gluing all the struts together? I'm really curious what other people do when it comes to their biplanes and stuff. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.